Cool. But yeah, so I said, so kind of what I wanted to do, right, like I wrote into the strat chat, was to look at our favorite 3 to 4 maps and making sure that we have the maps that we want and that we essentially build plans for them and then try and work through potential contingencies like backups when things are banned or taken, or if anything, just even like pick order, priority order, just because you might run into um, opportunities where you need to have certain things to be able to did I misspelled that?
What's that thing that says dad bookmarks?
And we coaching tools. I don't know where.
I
There
think
we
it's
go.
D&D.
Where? We got right here D&D bookmarks. Yeah.
I know.
So
Oh,
yeah. So okay. But yeah. So if we go through and look at our favorite maps, the ones that I know you guys have played a lot recently, so I have to assume they're up there. Is Dragonshire has definitely been played a lot.
I've
So
actually lost on it a lot. I
uh,
don't know if maybe we should hang the hat on that one, or maybe
that's fine.
keep trying. Well, I don't know what they think. I
We
was just
still
thinking.
like it.
I do like
We
it,
don't
but is it just?
adamantly hate it. We just get into it and then we're like, oops.
Okay. So let's see. From the maps that are listed here, if you had to pick, like definitely the bands make sense. So as I'm like, if you had a map that's like gave you the most flexibility of the map you want to play on the most often, is there one of these that you would want to play on most often?
I think out of these, my favorites, my least favorite out of those is Garden of Terror. I
Okay.
do like Dragonshire. I just think, and I think Ramsey does win his lane a lot.
Mhm.
So I think maybe we just need to learn how to like capitalize that. And it's like the only I don't like Braxis, right? So it's a point control map that we can capitalize on.
Mhm.
So I see some good stuff. It's just I guess we won it once and then we almost won it again. So
Mhm.
I guess it's like 1.5, right? So I guess
That's
we're
fine.
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Towers, Tomb, Infernal. Is this in the right order of rankings of things you like, or is
What do y'all think? I'm starting to put Tomb of the Spider Queen maybe above Towers.
yeah. I was just thinking that. I feel like we got behind on towers a bunch of times.
I don't think we played Shrine. I think we've only played. Man, what have we played? We played Alterac a couple times. We played Dragonshire. We played Tomb of the Spider Queen and Towers of Doom. Those are the only three maps we played, so we haven't had a chance to try the other
Yeah, we've
ones.
been map picking everyone, so we've just done those three.
sounds
I
good?
think we've either gone. Our one win was 2-0, and then we got swept 3 times. So it's kind of been like
Yeah,
we
your
haven't done a
division
lot of.
is pretty heavy-handed right now. Like when I looked at it, you've got essentially 6 teams that are in the bottom and 5 teams that are like oppressive.
I think we could have beat Smoke though.
Agreed. I'm just saying, like, based on where the stats are, like the 2 teams you
So
just lost to, Infernal and LTK, right? Like, they've essentially won every single set. They've maybe lost a few maps, but they've won every
I
set.
think, and I think if we're like getting the right stride, I think we can beat FF and the Pancakes.
Mm-hmm. So, okay. So does this look right? So Dragonshire's number 1, Tomb number 2, Towers 3, Infernal 4, and then you guys picked. Did you guys pick Eltrack that one time you played Smoke?
Because we won a Stormlight game. We are like, oh, maybe we're good at this. And then we
Mm-hmm.
are like, oh, never mind.
Okay. I just was just checking because it was like you wrote it down originally in your maps that we definitely are going to ban, and
Well,
then you.
that was that one actually. I really like Alterac,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I think we
well,
could.
we started running the 131 on Alterac recently,
Mm-hmm.
and we weren't doing that before, and we were finding a lot more success that way. And I think
Okay.
that's why like your feelings changed on it, Bo.
Well, no, I always liked it, but I think Steve and Combe didn't like it, or maybe Steve was the one that didn't like it. Combe doesn't like Volskaya. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Ultra.
Yeah, so that was Steve's. That was Steve's
Okay.
Okay.
chips.
I said we'll look at it, but I
Oh,
would
sorry,
say
Steve's opiates. Sorry.
you're fine. I said I'm like so yeah. If you don't like Ultrac, we can take it out. As I'm like just one of those things where like the other maps make sense for what you don't like. So,
I think my two priority bans. I think what we'll end up banning usually is Battlefield of Eternity and Braxis, and the others are like if someone else bans it, we might ban one of those
hmm
four.
okay, cool. So with that in mind, like I said, what I wanted to do was we'll look at Dragonshire here to start, right? And so there's a couple different ways to play this. And so there's the 1-3-1, there's a 4-1, and then there's essentially a 1-1-1-2. But you don't have to play those certain variations and combinations. And then you also have potentially different ways that you want to play it based on what you draft.
What is the 1-1-1-2 one?
So a 1-1-1-2 is essentially instead of having. So I'll quickly put our characters on the map. So when we can, we want our favorite bear and companion. So, and then we'll take, I don't know, I'll just pick someone with high wave clear that's in our pool. Tassadar, sure. So, and then the 3-man, so we'll get a vision tank. We'll pick an Uberak. Then we need some sort of support. So we can grab, like Stukov has been pretty popular for you guys, so we can grab that. And then we need Combs DPS. Let's make sure we can do some camps and things. So sure, let's grab a Greymane. So okay, so a 1-1-1, or sorry, let me put this on there. Then I'll explain the other one. My alphabet is failing me right now. There we go. So the goal of a 1-1-1-2 would be effectively that not that you would do it with these heroes, but you essentially have 3 solo laners that are all capable of holding their lanes, and the 2-man rotates around and does camps or finds advantages to find kills. So it's really dynamic where each of these individual people aren't moving. A typical 1-1-1-2 that a lot of pros are playing, we're putting stuff like Phoenix or Hanzo middle, just because they have survivability and escape. Then they would put their typical person down here as the solo, and then they'd obviously the solo laners would battle. But the goal for this composition was they would run like a Nubarak Tyrande, right? And so then no matter what lane a Nubarak Tyrande went in, if they showed up, there was a chance for a kill. And
Is
then
this the?
mhm.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, is this kind of like spread the reason that like in CCL like Karazim had a pretty good win rate, like this kind of thing?
Yep. And so because Karazim can solo camps, right? So that's huge, as well as just his mobility around the map, right? Like he's one of the few supports that can blink over walls, right? Because at level 4, you can drop your totem or your ally, and you can blink over to it. So it gives him a lot more mobility, as well as shoot, I hit reset heroes. It gives him a lot more mobility, and it gives him the ability to. It's a map about rotations, so he can stick onto people, and he can pop 7-sided strike and do a lot of damage. So, but based on how you guys like to play, I said I'm trying to quickly pull all the 4 heroes again back out for each player. So when you guys want to run Dragonshire, what is the quote-unquote key heroes you need for the map, and which ways do you like to play? Because I don't think that a 1-3-1 is always the right choice. I love playing it this way, but potentially with what you have and what you're doing, it may not work, right? And so, like for me, the most important one that stands out is does Ramsey get Rexar? And then if he gets Rexar, what do you want him to do? Right? Do you want him to win top and never leave? Do you want him to double soak with Rexar? Or do you want him to camp as Rexar? Because he essentially can't do all 3.
Right.
So
That's
it's one. Mm-hmm.
we need to find out like what we should do when he's has an advantage because I think we waste it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We
So
get nothing.
yeah. So what do you think? What do you like doing, Ramsey, with your Rexar?
I'm comfortable building him any that we need.
Mm-hmm.
I've typically just been running. I've had to double suck on him a lot recently, so I'm running the Q build and then
Mm-hmm.
I'll clear the wave really quickly and then Dragonshire, I don't feel like double soaking is great though, because like I feel like Rexar's advantage comes from being able to hold the point. And
Mm-hmm.
if I'm double soaking, then it's not really utilizing his advantages.
I 100% agree.
Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, that's I could play him anyway that I need to.
Okay. I thought I could hit
So
delete and it backed it up. It didn't.
would the
Okay.
ideal be like Ramsey clears his wave, I guess, and then he could get top camp maybe, like the bruiser, and then like do like maybe we meet mid and do something. I don't know. Is that something that happens? Like,
Hmm. So, so I would say let's pretend that we got our perfect draft, right? I'm not saying this has to be the perfect draft, but let's say this is what we did. Because unless Erica changed her heroes, I don't think Erica has a true anchor. No, she doesn't. That's fine. So, Tassadar is probably the next best for not having a true anchor. So, if we were to run this exact composition of 1-3-1, obviously we would all start middle and look for a kill because we have 3 stuns and a force wall and a puddle. Right? So like any hero that steps up in this triangle zone here has the potential to be killed due to our damage here. Sure, we may not always be able to fight for middle because maybe they've got like a Garrosh or something that's really scary and we don't want to like do that, or they have like a KTZ and we don't want to give them stacks. So, we can play differently, but in general, we want to start as mid 5. Priority is actually on clearing the wave, right? So Tassadar is going to be throwing the Psy Storm on the wave, and then once the Psy Storm has been thrown on the wave, like this is probably going to be W build Tassadar if you're playing them as the quote unquote anchor roll down here, just because you're not going to be able to auto attack anything safely. So as the W build Tassadar, you're able to still at least throw a W on your creep wave and get it cleared, and then throw a Q through it and clear like 70% of it and get your mana back, just because anytime W hits on one, you get the W build, you get mana back for hitting things. So your ideal here is you clear the wave, and if someone makes a mistake potentially in the wave or in this bush, you throw your 3 stuns, your Science Puddle, your Q from Tassadar, and Greymane Munch Munch. Hopefully you get a quick kill. Okay? If that doesn't happen, that's okay. Don't force it. Because what you really want is you want to get to this state. And so the idea for this is that your 3-man is going to roam around and do what's effective. The only thing they must do as a 3-man is clear this midwave. Right? As long as the midwave's cleared, they did their job. You don't need anything else. Because technically, bottom has this wave cleared. Ramsey will never lose this lane. Right? There's like 1 or 2 matchups, and I haven't seen anyone outside of like Diamond play the Rexar matchup properly, or Rexar's a detriment. So yeah. So like if Rexar never loses his match, then they never, well, quote unquote, will get top. Right? So if we, like, as I'm like, to win the dragon, you have to have all 3 to win the dragon. And if the 3 of us can go do camps, can go look for ganks either in the bottom lane or in the bush rotations here, right? Like there's a lot that can get done with these 3. And then when there isn't anything to do, like we don't have an advantage, let's use our macro pressure, because all the 3-man has to do every 30 seconds is clear this wave once, and then you have a minute to go do something else, right? Whether that be, okay, we clear the first wave and we looked for a kill, we didn't find it. We make sure, the 4 of us rotate through this triangle to make sure that Erica can get down to bottom safely. We clear bottom, and then, okay, now what do we want to do? This is where you need to look at the matchups. If the person Ramsey's fighting cannot clear this hard camp, you should take the hard camp at 1 minute. And the main reason for that is that it not only is he already winning his lane, but that will hopefully either A, get the whole wall down, that hard camp, or B, draw 2 to 3 players up here. And if it does that, now you've got rotational opportunity to kill them as they rotate up through it. Or you can start looking to get siege damage down this way with your Nubrak and your Greymane. Right? Like, sure, you don't have a Sylvanas, but a Nubrak can drop enough beetles to allow Greymane to hit the buildings. Right? Like, the whole idea behind this 1-3-1 is that you get to choose what to do, and they have to react to you, right? Like, it's like, because if you take this top camp and they don't have it matched at the exact same moment that you take it, you guys have a choice. Hey, they're like Erica's saying, hey, I'm down here, I'm stuck, there's 4 bot. Okay, cool. The 4 of you guys can just go siege this building. Maybe get a kill. Sure, it's unconventional to give bot for top, which you don't really want to give, right? Like, especially if they have a hard siege team. You don't really want to give this building, but don't be afraid to take the advantage on all the other walls. So, but yeah, so the majority of a 1-3-1, if you had this particular composition, is like the 4-man will be together for the majority of the time, but then when it's time to break off and do stuff, Erica's going to be playing incredibly safe, almost never pass like that bush line here, just because you don't have vision. It's one of the reasons why Tassadar is not an anchor normally, is that you don't have vision. So if we don't have vision, then a new Brack needs to be our vision. So the way that works is like, okay, at 1 minute, we say that Greymane and Stukov are going to take this camp. A new Brack is going to be maintaining vision to make sure that, hey, they're not invading this way, and hey, there's 4 bottom, play safe. Or hey, there's 1 middle. You can step up. Right? Like this is a game plan that fails if either Rexar or Tassadar die. Because as soon as they die, now you're stuck with unoptimal clearers or holders. Right? Like the only way that you can save a 4-man siege down here now that you've lost your Tassadar is to bring all 3 of your people down. And that's not fun. So, like I said, to me, like I said, those, not that you have like the perfect heroes, but like those are definitely good heroes for the quote unquote using your Rexar effectively. Because if the 3-man is using the Rexar to always win top, Rexar never has to leave the lane. It means he's never going to lose the point, and Rexar can start sieging this wall with his body or with Misha, right? Because the best part about this top lane is if you guys have this lane cleared, then we have vision of where they are because your minions will be on this side. So there's no way that they should be able to like walk up here and gank Rexar. Right? So Rexar can just put Misha in the bush here and can siege and will pretty much just beat his lane. So that's the idea of a Rexar 1-3-1. And it's like and with the other hero choices, which I almost grabbed all of his there. It's Yrel was the one I was missing. So if you try and do any other combination of a 1-3-1 here, it's going to change dramatically. So if you guys get Rexar banned, what is your next like go-to that you want here on this map?
I mean, if I'm playing Stukov, I really like Leo, the dirty wash tub.
Mm-hmm. So, let's see.
What do you think, Ramsey? If Rexar gets banned?
If Rexar gets banned, I'll usually hold my pick until maybe the other enemy offlaner picks, and then I can try to counter a little bit what they have just to guarantee that the lane wins. But Duark is usually a good like safe pick for me to.
Okay.
I can generally like trade well with him.
Mm-hmm. So Leo's good too because Leo A is ungankable, and B, you can trade on the point like you said, and then C, you can talent into helping to clear minions or clear camps. Not that you necessarily want to talent into clearing camps, but like depending on what they do, if you can clear the camp that's pushing into you, because Leo normally can't clear this quickly, and so he will probably want help or you're going to lose some wall structure damage. Doesn't mean you have to, show up every time a camp's pushing to help him, but just like, okay, I can actually clear this to enable the 3-man to go do something else. So, okay, cool. Gosh dang it. I wish there was an undo. Oh well. So I said I like Leo up here. I like Rexar up here. I know you had Diva and Dahaka. Have you guys played with those two in that off lane, or is that more of like Dahaka's the next one when I don't have Leo or Rexar.
We have
Yeah,
played
we've
Dahaka.
used Dahaka.
Okay.
Never duped yet, I don't think.
How do you use your Dahaka when you play this map?
I don't think we've used him on this map. We use him on Towers of Doom a lot, to where I'll put a lot of pressure up top whenever certain objectives are coming up, depending on like where the objective is at. That way I'll like pull one or two people up there to deal with me, and then I'll Z in to assist with the team fight.
Okay.
And take objectives that way. But with Dragonshire, that's more like planted.
Yep.
So I usually don't use Dahaka on this map.
Okay. I was gonna say, because if you do like Dahaka on this map, what I was gonna say is I'm like Dahaka's best utility obviously is in his global, right? And so either instead I'm like it depends on the timing or the engage, but like you can use Dahaka in a 1-3-1 type of scenario. It's just one of those things where it becomes a 4 or 5 man invade, right? Like so it's like and that invade needs to get kills. You can't use the Dahaka Z to like invade a camp. Right? Like, sure, you're like, if you already have 4 people here and it's a 4v4, fine, Dahaka can invade and hopefully you get the camp and a kill. But, like, if it's the 4 of you guys are fighting 1 or 2 people at the camp, don't call him into that unless you're going to get a kill. Right? Or potentially you've got a big, long, drawn out fight down here. Yeah, let's call Dahaka in and get that advantage fight for the bottom point or whatever.
Yeah. So. I think we struggled initially until like a week or 2 ago when I would play Dahaka. I wouldn't know when to use my global. But then they're doing a good job about asking for it now whenever it's a good time.
Nice.
Because I can't like pay attention to when it's like optimal.
Oh, I hear
with
you.
What's going on with them sometimes. So they just tell me and I can global. So we've like gotten that down, I feel like, now to where I'd be able to do Dragonshire.
Cool. Okay. So if we know Rexar, we're looking at like Leo or Dahaka. So both of these heroes don't necessarily win top, right? It's not like Rexar. So if we're not winning top, then we need to prioritize whether it be either helping top or winning bottom, right? Like it's okay to give somebody a quote unquote losing matchup right up here, as long as we are able to get advantage somewhere, because we can't consistently give things and not have an advantage. So, but yeah, okay. So so it sounds like we're gonna have essentially 2 drafts here, right? You're gonna have the Rexar version and the not Rexar version, and so in the not Rexar version, which hero or what hero becomes priority for you guys to make sure that you get to play this map the way you want to play it?
I feel like, yeah, it's hard to say. Greymane is really good for getting the camps. But then Gome can also play Falstad, and he's so like I feel like Gust has been really good on this map, and a global is super good. I don't know. I feel like as long as we have someone that can camp, like we've messed up before where we didn't get that, and that sucked. So we need that for sure. We need a camper. I'm starting to. I mean, I do like Diablo, but I feel like I can't. Like the last time we played this map, I played Diablo, and I felt like I know one point Combe, like they were getting the siege camp, and Combe wanted me to really like stay in the triangle bush. But I felt like I can't really do that as Diablo because I don't have a way to get out.
Yep.
So the only way I can check for vision is if I use my W. So like I wanted to stand like kind of by the red dot between the siege and the bush.
Yeah, you want to be like over here, and it's like.
Yeah, so that way I could kind of cue the siege if I needed to get out or something. But like, the only way I could check the vision is my W.
Yep.
So maybe on this map I want to prioritize like Anubrak, Joe.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Anubrak, Joe, and you said ETC?
Yeah, because if I take a Crowd Surfer, I can kind of like get some like cheeky escapes.
Or even if you're not familiar with using the talent, even if you just slide, you don't have to escape, right? You can just slide and it'll be up in 3 seconds.
Yeah, I like that. The cooldown and the mana reduction.
Yeah, so you pretty much just get to slide for free. When you want to get out, you just slide. Like, yes, using over walls will be better, but yeah, just being able to slide. Being able to play this map as one of these 3 tanks, the other one that people play all the time is Muradin. So you don't have to add Muradin to your pool, but just
Dude,
the. Mhm.
I do like him. It's just like I feel like those three are like Blessed Shield is so easy to follow up.
Yep. And so I said these three all have the abilities to get out, and so they can hold the triangle much better than Diablo can. Because, like you said, Diablo only goes in. Diablo doesn't go out. So it's like
Right.
these two tanks can go in or out. This one has a walk away. Hopefully you don't get entombed or something, but you have a walk
Yeah.
away, right? So, so yeah, I think that's a great idea. If Rexar is not number one, potentially making sure that you get one of your three tanks, right? Because um, since we don't have a true anchor person, right? Like we don't have the Chromie, we don't have the Lunara, we don't have the Hanzo. Since we don't have those tools, if as long as you have another good wave clear equivalent, which Erica has several. Like I said, I think the two I would prioritize would be Tassadar and Orphea. I think would be the two that I would be looking at trying to make sure that we did, just because both of them can clear the waves from a distance, right? And they don't have to get in danger, right? As much as like Jaina can technically clear the wave, Jaina's Blizzard actually puts her at tiny arms. It's really weird when
Yeah.
you've got a mage that it's like there's no way it has tiny arms. It's like yeah, she kind of does compared to how long the E range of Orphea as well as the W range of the Tassadar. So
Right.
yeah, so just something to think about. So I said I think if I was to pick for heroes, definitely making sure you get one of the vision tanks in your top three picks, and then obviously if you can get Rexar, wonderful. So if we were to, let's hypothetically say we got Rexar and a Nubarak, like somehow we got both of them. Okay, what are we looking for next? Right? Because it doesn't have to be Stukov, Greymane, or Tassadar. Right? It's like what is our next two picks and which needs to be the most flexible of the next three picks?
I think Stukov's really good, but I mean, Comb has a really strong preference to Greymane. I think.
And that's important to know. If like looking at Chrome's heroes here, uh, you could pick any of these to be in your three man, right? Sure, it'd be nice to have more wave clear or sorry, more camp ability, but I don't think you necessarily need to in a 1-3-1, right? Because in your 1-3-1, the three man can go do camp together. The three man can go invade together, right? Like they can do what they need to do. So if anything, I think Chrome's hero is probably the least like required.
Okay.
Unless he 100% is like I would rather play Greymane 9 times out of 10 than anyone else on this list. Then okay, we get Chrome. Chrome is hero. But if he's comfortable playing all of these, like I don't think that Greymane's required. If anything, I would put Lunara up higher just because Luna brings vision and would help keep Erica safe in the bottom lane. But like I said, I'm like you don't have to, but like just knowing the fact that we have both of these available, like this is great already.
So then probably Stukov, but I feel like there's no way. Well, I guess Stukov Rhaegar would be good. We can have. I think maybe we need to start utilizing Rhaegar's macro. Maybe like I know Steve's been wanting to do that anyway, so maybe we could do that.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, I think if you were to go a 1-2-3 type of heroes, right? So it's like this is when you start looking at what does the enemy want to do? What do we want to do? Because even if we don't have a third CC, right? Like it's like if we drafted, I'll just move them over here so it's easier to see. If we drafted this, there's technically not another CC outside of Rexar. Rexar's not going to be much in the team fight, right? So you only have two CCs. But you guys have enough burst/damage and a wall that you can get a kill between a cocoon and two stuns, right? And the amount of macro pressure you're bringing right now to split push and do things, you can still get a lot done. You don't necessarily need the Stukov. The Stukov silence puddle is huge because you can create, 10 seconds, well, probably closer to 5 seconds worth of people not being able to push buttons. Which
you
is
would say this is definitely not the Varian map, right?
so if you wanted to Varian, you would have to not 1-3-1.
We'd have to be 4-1.
Yes.
So if Ramsey got Leoric, we could do that.
So if Ramsey got Leoric, and Leoric's gonna truly his only goal is to double soak, right? that's his goal, then yes, you guys could run Varian.
Maybe then in that case it's better if like so say the off chance we can't get Leoric, we get Urel with like the Divine Steed. Maybe she's like the better double soaker on this map. Like she can get between top and mid like super fast.
What do you think, Ramsey? If you had to double soak this map, I know it's not traditional, but if you had to double soak this map, who would you want as your double soaker?
I think it would come down to what the enemy team's looking like. I'm comfortable double soaking on both, and I don't
Okay.
think that like I think Leoric clears slightly faster than Urel, and like the amount cast time reduction doesn't really factor in a whole lot. Like I'm not going to miss a wave on either of them as long as I'm just double soaking.
Okay. And
So like if they're really like physical damage heavy, and maybe like I could disrupt the space a little bit and pop in for a team fight, I think Urel would be better. But if it's
Well,
actually, I'd probably do Leoric though because we've been doing really well. If we had like Stukov and
it's just rare that I think that Leoric meets up with a team fight. I think maybe like when we rotate mid and I don't know. Yeah, maybe we could like plan that. I don't know what that's called, right? But there's a thing right where like the alternating
like converging.
yeah.
Yeah. I have not done that, but I've seen teams do it, and I'm like, wow, that was pretty cool.
See, I tried to talk a second ago, and I don't think anybody could hear me.
Oh, there you are.
Yep.
Okay.
What did you say?
Well, I was talking about the choice between like Stukov or other healers, and I kind of feel like on this map, unless we're going with Leoric, or if maybe comes going with Jaina, we don't have that many opportunities to really take advantage of Stukov's lurking arm, which is the only build I feel comfortable playing Stukov with. So if it's not a real like, I get a lot of CC to set up lurking arm. I don't think Stukov's the best choice.
I feel like he's really good if he's on the point, right? You could just E the point, or if they're escaping, you either like their gate, right? Like, and just his healing numbers are like absurd.
Yeah. But now that I'm starting to learn Malfurion a little bit, like if I don't have that type of setup with Stukov, pivot toward Malfurion, or go with Rhaegar for more macro, or go with Uther for more just straight up team fight.
No, I love it. I said I'm like we can. So I said if we were to do back to that, so we want to take the Varian, right? And so we're gonna force a double soak. It doesn't have to be Varian either, but essentially Rexar gets banned, and you look at the enemy team and they have, I don't know, they have Vikings. Like they have something weird where it's like Ramsey doesn't feel like that he can win top, or maybe they go for a full-on tank choke and they ban Joe, they take ETC and ban a Nubarak. Right? And so it's like I don't have a tank anymore that I feel comfortable playing. Okay. We can run a 4-man Varian. Just the thing is that no matter what happens with Varian, this is going to be a telegraphed engage. Right? Where's the 4-man? Are they bottom? Then it's like then the enemy team should in kind not be where you are. But who knows how well that's played. So, how do you guys think a 4-man Varian comp would look like? If you got, so as if we took Varian tank, what would you want as part of your pieces?
Stukov optimally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if Stukov's banned, do you have another choice?
Malfurion.
Mouth. Okay.
They
Then
usually have a Tychus in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Tychus.
Okay. And if we're going that route, then we definitely need Greymane or perhaps Jaina.
I like the Jaina.
Camps.
I like it.
But our arms are so small.
I like the Jaina. So it's okay being tiny arms in this mentality because it's literally if I taunt, it dies. If I taunt and it doesn't die, as dumb as it sounds, it may have been a bad taunt or we weren't together. Like this composition, the way this one's going to work is the 4-man pretty much can't do anything apart, which is why the 1-3-1 and all of the other things became popular, is because they're like, hey, when they're clearing this bottom wave as 4 and then rotating back up to middle, and then rotating back up to middle to get the next wave, right? It's like this 4-man is like, this guy's like, I can do what I want. So they added in the double soak, where the 4-man doesn't have to worry about mid, right? That'll be Ramsey's job. So as soon as this wave's done, the 4-man can look for a kill. The 4-man can take the bottom camp, right? Like, but your goal as the 4-man is you shouldn't really, unless Ramsey says, hey, I need help covering the mid wave for some reason, you guys should pretty much only be living in this square, right? And it removes some of the danger of not having a vision tank, because I don't have to travel through the triangle. I'm not going to be living in the triangle. so
Right.
so yeah. So
But in the
this.
one,
Hmm.
but in the 1-3-1, whenever we have a nub, I think either going with Rhaegar to take camps
Hmm.
and potentially just grab soak on 1 to 2 lanes
I
with
do really
him.
like with the Nubrak though, with the Stukov, like, because there is a window where they can break out of my stuns. Like, there's a little period. With Stukov though, like, say we have a Nubrak and we have a Nubrak Stukov, and they have like Joe. I think we could kill even a Joanna if we had any other damage, because she wouldn't be able to press any buttons.
Yep, it's definitely
Yeah,
doable. It's hard. Like I said, I don't. It depends on, once again, what your win condition is. In the one
the
three
the
one, like, you can go either one. I think what depends more on whether or not you take Rhaegar over Stukov is what's your other two DPS. Because Rhaegar provides follow up CC. Like, you don't need to have a Stukov puddle. But if your win condition is, hey, we can't reach them, but we can kill Joe, then we need the Stukov, right? Like, essentially, there's no way to kill Joe without Stukov. Not until later in the game.
So
But
if we have range, we don't need to worry about that. If we have long arms,
if you have long arms, I wouldn't be so worried about Stukov. It, like I said, it almost comes down more to, hey, I want Rhaegar because I also had to take Cassia or something, right? And like, like Greymane can solo this camp with just a couple top off heals, right? And so it's like being able to cover that is super easy. And then, whether it be Jaina or whoever else can clear the camps and take care of that quickly, and having Rhaegar speeds that up and provides safety. Versus, no, we have our camps covered. I need to get a kill confirm, and so I need the Stukov. So that's really what the difference comes down to, is what do you want your like 3-man to do? Because in the 1-3-1 style, right, Tass is going to be living down here, or Orphea, right? I don't think Orphea is in here because of the how old this tool is, but it's like Tass or Orphea is going to be living in the bottom. So if the three of you, right, Anubrak, uh, and well, where's our Greymane? There he is. So if these three heroes cannot get a kill within the 2 second stun duration, so it's like you probably needed a different DPS or healer, right? Like, because you need to be able, the 3-man needs to be able to get kills, whether it be rotating and ganking top, or rotating and attacking bottom, or taking camps.
and
And
then
so,
the lurking arm is like so low, right? Like the cooldown on it, like, or the like the it hungers or whatever
yeah,
the
with the
one that
13 talent, you get resets like crazy. So,
yeah.
so I would say, if you asked me, it's going to come down partially to draft and partially to what your DPS is, if it's Rhaegar over Stukov, right? And it also could be just preference on healer. Like, if I have both of these healers open, Waniba's like, I want Stukov all day. That's just what she enjoys, and she's excellent at it. So like, we will give up Rhaegar just because Stukov's available, right? And so Stukov has its own weaknesses. Most teams don't draft to counter Stukov weaknesses, and we try not to like walk blatantly into them. So a weakness of Stukov is that he doesn't have cleanse. So since he doesn't have cleanse, we often bring Lunara as our
because he has a
DPS.
lot of self roots too, right? So like,
Yep. So people can potentially dive him because he can't walk away because he's rooting himself constantly to do his abilities. So
Yeah.
other things people do is they take grenade range on Tychus, and so every time Stukov does a lurking arm, Tychus throws a grenade. But like, I don't see anyone like Diamond Plus is the only ones I see doing stuff like that, where it's like your goal is interrupting Tychus or Stukov, or they take Tyrande for the same thing. They take Tyrande with range, and so she just stuns every time Stukov does a puddle. Tyrande stuns.
you saw that Tychus like juke our Cancun.
Yeah,
That was crazy.
that was crazy. So, all right. I think I've spent plenty of time here, but I
Yeah,
don't. I just
sure.
want to make sure that if this is what you're looking for. So, like to me, when I look at this draft sheet, say it's like so the 1-3-1 style. Obviously, Rex are. So I'll tighten this up. I'll tighten this up a little bit. But obviously, Rexar's number one, right? And so since we picked the map most of the time, we can only expect to get 2 picks in the first round, right? So based on what we just talked about, who are the 2 most important picks for us to get in our 1-2?
Tank and healer after Rexar.
Like I said, you only get 2 picks, right?
Okay.
So that's it.
So
So
say
if
we
you,
don't get.
so you,
Oh,
I,
we
I,
can get Rexar.
if we get the Rexar, I think I would rather wait to pick the support to see what they get and have the tank pick.
I agree. If you get the Rexar, make sure you get the next most important thing, right? Which is going to be whoever your vision tank is. If you know from the first 2 picks, hey, don't have a vision tank, right? Like somehow there's no Anub, there's no ETC, and there's no Joe, right? Like if all 3 are gone and you have to pick something there, you guys need to start talking about like, do we actually want Rexar? Because like sure Rexar can double soak, but Rexar isn't quote unquote the safest because he has to choose one direction for his bear when he goes middle. He can't just E away like Leoric can, or he can't just hop away like Urel can. So
So we've pretty much. Is this map pretty much covered up then? Like we just need to like.
I would just
pick
shore
down
up
on
your picks. Correct.
Okay.
Your pick
yeah.
and pick order. So, okay, let's do the next one real quick. So you've got what'd you say was the other favorite map? Let's do Tomb. Tomb's easy. Okay. What's the number 1 win condition on Tomb?
This. I don't know. Is it the boss? Top lane, or bottom lane maybe because the camps.
Don't just guess. No, go ahead. Yes. the
I would say top lane for sure because of boss, but I know that I think there's 2 camps that push bottom, so maybe it's that.
So the camps go middle, right? If
Okay.
they go middle, and then this camp goes bottom, and then to your point, the boss. So unless it's a snowball, right? Like somebody on either team dramatically misplays, the spiders usually don't win by themselves. So you will either need a boss, or you will need a 4-man wipe to end on Spider Queen. So with that in mind, the way that we get turn-ins is through wave clear. This is the only map where the objective, to get the objective, is just in lane. You don't have to go elsewhere to do anything. You literally just have to clear.
My personal preference for this map it would be Joe, Leoric, Stukov, Orphea, and then whichever healer or whatever last damage. I don't think that one matters as much. Something with wave clear from Comb.
So Joe,
But
Leoric, Stukov, Orphea.
yeah, I think that was like so good. I like this a lot. What do you
Orphea
think?
or Jaina.
Okay, well, we're trying to
like
pick
I wouldn't mind going double mage on this one because the wave clear is so good. I don't know if that's bad, but
nope.
I liked it.
As long as they're not both burst mages. That's usually your key.
Imperious.
Well,
okay, so if we if we draft,
I think we're saying different things because I was talking about our last Storm League game the other day that like we played where we
Was it come on Imperious?
No, it was on Jaina.
Oh, okay.
so you
I like both of those.
You essentially ran something like this with Tassadar being Orphea.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was amazing. It was like a wombo combo, but it also played to the map. Like
I 100% agree. The one thing I would note is if you don't get kills with this comp, you don't siege well. Right?
Oh dude.
So that's I'm like it's not the end of the world because you have a clear win condition. It's getting kills, getting turn-ins, staying ahead on macro pressure. Right? If you're ahead on macro, minions siege real good. You don't need a siege hero if your minions are there. Like your
Yeah.
minions hit as hard as Greymane, depending on the timing, level, and attack speed.
I
So
guess
like,
Jaina could build Ice Fury wand then if we needed that.
I would agree. I would say if you want to go, if you were going to quote unquote double mage this map, I would look more at this version than I would at the Orphea version.
Oh man, but it was so good because we were. I know it's like maybe it's like win more, but we had we would go like Blessed Shield, Entomb, Eternal Feast.
Mm-hmm.
It was awesome.
I
They were
think it
melting.
still works. I'm not. I said I think it does work, and I think you get a lot of damage out of it. So I'm like, this one's a little bit more well-rounded, just because you have sustained damage in Tassadar.
Is that Archon Tassadar? Is that
Either one. You don't have to pick one. This is W build Tassadar. Is the key here. W build is sustained damage Tassadar versus Q build is burst
okay.
damage Tassadar,
Jaina's-
right? And then I would not AA Tassadar ever.
Okay.
So maybe I'm just picky, but I feel like Tassadar standing still is asking to die. So it's like, let me stand still longer and hit you with this beam.
One
So
thing we did, to Steve's point, we did have really good success with is it was with Varian though. We were doing Varian. I mean, it's like the classic, quintessential like training wheels comp, like
mm-hmm,
Dukov, Varian, Imperius. We won like 8 Storm League games in a row with it. It was like pretty awesome.
mm-hmm.
So that's something too. But I feel like this comp here has like their interruption of the maybe the Varian comp would be our backup if we can't get Joe.
Okay, I was
But I
about to
think I would.
ask if you can't get Joe because it tends to get banned on this map a lot. What do we want to start putting in as alternatives? And so you said Varian. Okay, I think Varian works. Whether this is Orphea or Tassadar doesn't really matter. So it's like because you don't necessarily need to control vision as much, right? And your wave clear is going to put you up so far ahead, and as soon as you engage, you should have some sort of burst damage, whether it's the Orphea or the Jaina, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like the only thing you might have to watch out for is just staggering. Make sure you don't throw all of it at once. So, but I like it. It looks good. You've got level 20 fights. You know what I mean? It's like, and then Varian doesn't bring any wave clear, but that's okay. You've brought plenty in your double mages. It's like, and you've got secondary engages, whether it be, an Entomb or the Chomp or a Ring or something, right? Like you've got stuff available. I like it. I said this is it's just the big thing is that you're committing a lot to that team fight version of this map with heavy emphasis on wave clear or the objective. Sorry, heavy emphasis on the wave clear on the objective because the objective on this map is the wave clear. So
I think I would.
Mhm.
I would like. I don't know if like the Imperius plan because we were doing double bruise with Imperius. I don't know if that's good on this map because of like how important the wave clear is. And I feel like Fervor's not too bad, but
mhm. I would say that if you run 4-man Imperius on this one, you need someone with crazy wave clear that can like run it and do it by itself almost, right? Like I would almost switch. Gosh, I'd end up switching so many pieces. I don't even know if it's worth it. Like from this, right? Like you couldn't just do one, right? Like I would say that you'd have to like on the Rhaegar would give you the additional clear on your Varian or Joe, right? Versus the Stukov, so we have more clear. Just the
sure.
main problem you run into with Imperius is that he doesn't have wave clear, and so Imperius should be relying on how successful the engage is from the tank. So if you hit the taunt, right, like you said, you hit the taunt, Imperius can't miss his stun, so he hits the stun. The silence can't miss because now that person's standing there for 4 seconds. And then the Jaina burst or whatever else you're throwing on it, not Jaina, because obviously it's the other hero, so it'll be Orphea. Like the Orphea burst or the Tassadar burst. Like I think it could work. It depends on what the enemy team's drafting. Because if they have one burst save, they have an Anduin or something, then you might be
You don't want to do that.
SOL for a little bit. Not that you can't re-engage again once Anduin's pulls down. But I think if you were to run that combination, I would probably take Tassadar or Orphea if you're gonna run the 4-man imp. So I'd say you'd have to try it and see what you can control, see what you can do, and then maybe not even Leo. Pick something else that
We were using it with Rexar, but
I like the Rexar actually
yeah,
because the Rexar on this map like if you're running it on this map specifically, the Rexar doesn't have to build Q build here. Like it's only one wave. So if he goes Q build, then he can help assist the mid wave too, right? Which creates more opportunities for that stun CC chain. So Rexar could double soak effectively here, right? Right. He's not going to be truly double soaking, but he can clear fast enough to be able to help bottom and mid. So
Sure. So
I really like that.
I guess that comp would be my like third choice. So like first would be like the Joe, the Leoric. Second would be like a Varian with like burst mages, and then third would be like with the double bruiser Imperious.
Okay. Yeah, let's write them all down. Like I said, you don't have to write this second, but just let's write them all down on one of these sheets here. Just make one that says Tomb of the Spider Queen. Here you go. Right, and just kind of write out what you're thinking. Just because I think that's 100% good strategies to have you lined up and ready, so that way we can start talking through. Did we commit or complete what we wanted to do? Because it's really hard at times when you're sitting down playing and trying to figure out like what went wrong, and like it's like sometimes it's easy to blame draft, being like, oh, we didn't draft what we wanted, or oh, we lost a draft. Draft essentially means how hard or easy is the game going to be played. Because if you draft better, the game will be easier for you to win. If you draft poorly, the game may be harder for you to win, but you still have to execute. You still have to do your things correctly.
Right.
So, what was that? Go ahead, Opiates.
Yeah, so for this map, if the Stukov, say, is banned out or picked first, which should be our next go-to for healer?
That's a great question.
First plan. I think that Rhaegar or Malfurion could work, or Anduin.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want a Lucio. I don't think I'd want a Karazhan for this one.
Yeah.
I need to add Malfurion to this. I've been playing a lot of Malfurion lately.
Cool.
So, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable with it.
Okay, I think all three are good. I don't have a problem with any of those, Rhaegar, Malf, or Anduin. Just obviously they all do different things, right? And so if you're planning on the Varian version, right, you probably don't want Rhaegar.
Yeah, I probably would want Malfurion.
Malfurion or Anduin, right? Both of them have the follow-up CC. Rhaegar doesn't have the follow-up CC. That'd be the only difference. Yeah.
But Rhaegar comes back in with the third plan being the Imperious plan, because then we have the Imperious as the follow-up CC, then we just need more wave clear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Then you would need more wave clear, correct.
It's like a weird rock, paper, scissors like flowchart kind of weird thing.
And so that's why having those ideas and plans up front is so impactful, because you have the knowledge of what do they like to play. Like the team that we are going to play tonight, like they the only things that are scary in their draft are Deathwing and Garrosh. And so, okay, like we're gonna ban those things. It's like, okay, then what else do we want to do? How do we want to play the game? And it's like, okay, their offlaner doesn't play any of the typical offlaners. They don't play Blaze. They don't play Yrel. They don't play Rexar. So it's like, okay.
Malthael and stuff.
So I'm like, so they play like Leoric. They play Diva. And so I'm like, okay, like let's pick heroes. Like we're gonna build drafts around killing the offlane. And so like we might run some sort of 1-3-1 compositions where we draft Nova again, and we just run around and gank whoever the offlane is over and over again. Just because it's like you guys don't have an answer for when you guys aren't Deathwing or Garrosh.
I like that you guys had precision shot or whatever. It's like basically a lava wave or something.
Yep.
I don't know.
That's how we use the Nova. Is specifically for macro. So. But yeah, I said so. I like that you have all three of those. What I would encourage, like I said, but it doesn't have to be tonight, but just within the next day or so before your next match, let's try and build out. What does Dragonshire look like if we do the 1-3-1? What's the Dragonshire look like if we do the 4-1? How do we want to do Spider Queen? Obviously, Braxis is not there, so we can get rid of Braxis. But yeah, just like little things of what can we do, and then start talking about options or what does it fit. Because what we might run into is, okay, we drafted the cool Imperious Bruiser thing here, and it didn't work. And it's like, okay, why didn't it work? And you might discover, yeah, we actually got kills and then couldn't siege. right? Because I'm gonna show you the exact same thing. If you were to put Imperius in here, and you take, because that means Jaina's no longer here, so this is Orphea or Tass, right? And you've put in Imperius. Is he released, or is he too new for this chart too? Gosh dang it. No, it looks like he's too new. But yeah, you put in Imperius for this 4-man kill squad. You get a kill, which you will. You will not miss a kill. If you get a taunt plus a spear plus a silence, like that's a kill. How do you win this map? Because you will need to get turned in eventually, or you're going to need boss.
The objective for sure. The spiders over and over again.
So I said, so the big thing is that you need to get kills to stop them from getting turn-ins, right? So you guys are going to be a kill squad that's potentially just sharking the turn-ins, right? Like, we're not going to be sharking under here. Like, we should not be sharking under these towers.
We got to be in the purple waters.
Yes. You want to be finding where they are, as well as protecting the turn-ins, right? That's where the 4-man's going to get that advantage to get those kills. Yeah. So just little things like that, because if you get the kills, we get the turn-in, and then we can't siege, we also messed up. So how do you siege? We'll end on that, actually. I didn't see how much time we had, but we'll end on that. So how do we, once the 4-man gets the kill, right? Let's say that you got your first kill, and now we're looking to push in and get another, we're going to push with the web weavers. How does your 4-man or 5-man team now do web weavers? Let's go ahead and say you have Rexar too. So, and then, I don't know. This is Imperius or some.
I think we'd have to, like, look to flank them when they're defending or something to protect the web weaver. I don't know. We just get more kills. I'm not sure.
You nailed it. Get more kills. So how do we get more kills? Right?
So what I would do I would like circle around the, like, you can't see my mouse, but
yeah,
like the purple areas, like you can kind of go behind the forts once it's like there.
Mm-hmm.
Like the web weavers are pushing up, and it's probably gonna destroy the wall, right? So maybe as like Varian, I could like be aggressive and like go through their fort and like taunt them.
So because your siege damage is so low, any lane that has a wall down already becomes your priority lane.
Okay.
Because now you can dive past the wall. Right? And the web weaver can shoot snot right on top of you. They can siege, right? Like, instead of sieging with the web weavers, this comp becomes get kills so the web weavers can push harder.
So would it be like, look for where the enemy team is fighting our web weavers, and then prioritize the least amount of structures there, and that's where we pick our fights.
Yeah, exactly. So if they, for example, if they're up here, like if they're in lane trying to clear, go kill them. Don't let them do that. Right? You've got like you guys literally can kill anyone that's not behind a wall. That is right. So like, don't let them clear for free. So that would be like number one. Like the web weavers spawn, and they spawn 1, 2, 3. Like somehow they're perfectly all in the middle. Right?
They're also our vision tool. I feel like the webbies will give us like pretty good vision.
Yep. So like I said, if they all spawn somehow in the middle and are not spawning at the gate, right? Fight whoever goes to defend them.
Sure.
Right? And so maybe you guys kind of shark around this middle section first to see which one of these two web weavers they go to defend. Because in all reality, Ramsey's going to do what he can. He gets a wall, he doesn't get a wall, who knows, right? It's going to be an honorable offlane to the duel, offlane duel to the death, and whatever happens, happens. So it's like, so you're hoping that your 4-man can get a kill while supporting the web weavers. And if they commit all 4 here, right, and they're behind their wall, you might just want to do the first web weavers may not be a lot. It may not be valuable to you. You just want to get a wall down. So, yeah, it's just the thing is the strength of your 4-man is crippled as soon as one of the pieces are gone.
Sure.
So yeah, so then that...
I was gonna say I have some other like ideas. Maybe I can like message you, and then I can add this like an addendum to our little plans and see. All right.
Sounds good. Cool. All right, I've got a game tonight. I don't know if it's gonna be streamed or not, but I can stream if you guys want to watch. But yeah, that's all I got for now. That's cool. We got 2 done. I think I said my goal would be to, if you guys can do it on your own and build and talk about what you want for the other 3 maps. And then we just work on our synchronization. Like I said, when I watched that Alterac game that you guys just had from Smoke, I saw I saw you guys landed your combos perfectly, and like it was beautiful. And then I saw the rest of the game just disjointed attempts where like we're trying to do too many things, or it's not being like at least consistently called and timed properly. So if we can just work on our tightness as a unit for like Stukov and silences always in follow up on tank engages, right? Or like say it's like okay we're gonna gank the offlaner. So it's like okay the ganking from the right angle of attack. So, right, like don't be coming from the safe side trying to gank the offlaner. Like no, if we're
Oh
ganking
yeah,
them, like come this way. So
go aggressive.
yeah.
I was wondering if we could maybe take a video with comms next time,
Yes,
and
please.
then you could maybe like critique what we're communicating when things happen, because I think like you're seeing it play out, but you're not hearing the intent behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would maybe go the longest way, is that if we could get some like criticism on how we're communicating when stuff happens
You're
and
already
how
on
like
top
we're
of it.
coming together.
Yep. As I told the same thing to Bo earlier, I'm like it's like I don't know how your comms are going. Like you guys should probably start recording your comms, just
I'm
so we can
gonna
start seeing that.
figure out obs tomorrow because I just haven't messed with it in a while. So I was like, Ramsey brought it up like the day of, so I was like, and I was like, I don't know if it's working.
So
I have it going on mine, but
Oh,
I think
cool.
it'd be better. We'll get it going on yours, Bo, because you'll be running with a 4-man. I could
All
help
right,
you with that though.
all right,
cool.
cool.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Good stuff. We will catch up next
Thank you.
time. And yeah, like I said, I'll send the link here so that way the com can have it so he doesn't miss anything. But that'll do it for this time.